Hello and welcome to the first episode of Live from the Filmstrip. I am your host, Christopher A. Padilla. We're going to open the show today talking about the film Life, starring Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence. This was a very weird and peculiar. Well, that's the same thing as weird, isn't it? Peculiar and weird. No, it was very strange because I'm a huge Eddie Murphy fan, as well as a Martin Lawrence fan. And throughout the years, I've seen this film on various streaming services, but I never really took the time to watch it, you know? And so I was like, yeah, hey, let's give it a shot. Let's see what this flick is like. Now, first off, this film is very much a time capsule of a film because in the late 90s to mid 2000s, even in the towards the end of the 2000s, Hollywood, when they were making a quote unquote black film, they had a tendency to put a bunch of shitty music like in the film in lieu of a score or just better music. Okay, because this film opens up with some shitty music. I don't even know. I don't even remember, but it was like that shitty music that you hear when you are watching, like I said, a black film from the 1990s, late 1990s, early 2000s. I would even say before, like, it's just very obvious that executives are like, "Oh, what hot song is out? Oh, yeah, okay, we'll put it in there. Put that in there, put this in there. We're just going to sell the soundtrack." So, the music ruins probably most of the film when it shows up. It doesn't complement it. It's very much just there, and you have to roll your eyes every time it comes on. Now, the writers and directors, I have no idea. The actors, now the actors, it's an all-star cast. Bernie Mac is in here along with others. I don't have all the names here, but a lot of familiar faces, and you have stellar performances coming from Martin Lawrence and Eddie Murphy. So, watching this film, you or watching the opening rather, there are names coming up, and you know, I'm just I'm just like looking at him. Then a name catches my eye. A name that I would never in a million years think that never in a million years would have thought he would have attached his name to this project, and that is Rick Baker. Now, for those of you who don't know who Rick Baker is, he is one of the like top legendary makeup visual effects artists of all time. Like, he's a legend. So seeing his name attached to this, I'm like, how are they going to utilize his skills? Like, what visual effects could possibly be in this movie? So the movie starts, and it's a period piece. It takes place in like the 30s, I think, maybe 20, late 20s, early 30s, and it's funny. You know, the Eddie Murphy is funny, Martin Lawrence is funny, and then takes a dark turn. A really dark turn involving crooked cops and who commit murder, and Eddie Murphy, Martin Lawrence end up getting pinned for that murder. That's a pretty dark turn for something that I thought was a comedy. And I thought that it would end there. But it would continue because, again, it goes from comedy to serious drama, and then it's like this. Then it's serious because there is a gay character in um, in the film who is in a relationship with Bernie Mac's character, and he's really conflicted with being released in about a month because he's afraid that his mom's not gonna accept him for who he really is. And spoiler alert, this is a big spoiler, so just if you want to see life, please. But he's just, Eddie. He's talking to Eddie Murphy about this, and Eddie Murphy's explaining to him like, "Look, man, it's 1945. Times have changed. Please, just she's gonna love you." And I think the guy agreed or something. Anyway, he you make it think like he's like, all right, he's gonna go on, right? The next scene is him beelining it straight for the border where the towers are, the gun towers. For anybody who runs past a tower, they get shot. And he runs past the towers and he gets shot. He dies because he was scared. And I'm sitting here like, what the fuck is this? This is a fucked up movie, man. This is very fucking depressing. This is like, why that? And then you have to see Bernie Mac react to his love interest getting shot. It's it was like, man, really? Really? Like, you couldn't just stick with comedy, you had to make it serious? Anyway, so the film progresses. Again, this is done through a montage of seeing all these prisoners slowly disappear as the years go by with some, again, horrible music. You know what? No, I think that song worked for that transitional thing, but still, it was just very, just, it didn't match. I would have rather have had a score as opposed to whatever music executives thought would work for that scene. And then you see Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence as old men. And that's when it hit me. I'm like, oh shit. This is where Rick Baker comes in. This is where his skills are utilized. And he did a fucking awesome job because that makeup. I mean, looking at it now, you can tell, but still, and the performances by Murphy and Lawrence, those, it was good. It was genuine. They were acting very genuine, like old men. And then the film, ends on a happy note. They escape, and they're at a Yankee game because Martin Lawrence's character is a huge baseball fan. So they escape. I think it's modern times, and they're older men. It ends on a baseball game. And then the credits song rolls. Abysmal song. I can't stress enough how shitty the music is in this film. I really can't. But I have to say that I did enjoy the film. Although it was very uneven, I would recommend it because when the funny parts happen, and when the funny parts land, they land hard, and you get a good laugh out of it. But I don't know. You might the contrast between the dramatic scenes might be a little jarring for some. So approach with caution. Okay, that's it. That's it for the first part. Now it's time to get to the meat and potatoes, the ranting part of the show. Now, before we get to the main topic, which is the pandemic podcasts that have sprung up since all this crazy shit has started, I'm going to rant real quick about something that happened to me a couple days ago. So I'm at Little Caesars, right? Waiting to get my pizza. Now there's a line, okay? There's a line most nights, most of the time at this particular spot. And the car in front of me is at the window. She gets handed her pizza, and then she moves forward past the window. Now, drive-through etiquette is once you pass the window, that is a point of no return. Okay? Point of no return. You have to commit. If there's a problem, you have to round the corner, park the car, and walk in to handle it. You can't go back, right? Wrong. Apparently not for this lady. Okay? This lady goes up and then reverses and is waiting there for me to throw it in reverse. Now, I throw it in reverse and try to go back. Then I look behind me. There's a car on my ass. He doesn't know that he or she doesn't know that I'm backing up. So I'm backing up, getting closer to this car that's behind me. Meanwhile, this van is trying to come back to the window. And this goes on for 10 minutes. 10 fucking minutes of this bullshit. I have to. And what stopped me from throwing it in park, getting out, and just telling her, turn the corner, park the fucking car. The front of the store is literally right there. Literally right there. When you turn, there would be zero effort, almost zero effort being made here on your part. And then she finally just throws in drive and drives off. She doesn't go into the Little Caesars. She doesn't. So, whatever problem she had with her order, it was important enough for her to throw it in reverse, wait in 10 minutes. But it wasn't important enough for her to just go inside. She'd rather just go home and not deal with it. Isn't that fucking insane? Am I 10 minutes of time that I cannot buy. I cannot buy that 10 minutes back. Those 10 minutes are wasted because some fucking lunatic didn't have the fucking patience or for whatever reason the effort of parking and getting out of a fucking car was too much for her, that she just wasted 10 minutes and then drove off. I've never been so mad in such a short amount of time. I was fuming. Okay? So after that, I get my pizza after waiting another 10 minutes because my pizza was a complex order. Whatever. It's an extra mosbestos, So they would just put one in. I get this pizza already suspicious of it because the box, She said they just putting it in. They were just putting it in the oven. It's going to be about 10 minutes. And I get the pizza. The box is cold. It's warm on the bottom, but not out of the oven warm. It's under the heat lamp warm, right? Get back. It's a thin crust extra asbestos that is room temperature. I'm fuming. I grab the pizza, take it back, drive back, and explain the situation. I get the other pizza and I get to keep the thin crust. So I'm happy. But that lady that was in front of me triggered a a a, a sequence of horrible bad luck that happened in that short amount of time. And had I been in a bad mood prior to being there, I can't even imagine what how I would have reacted. I can't imagine. But I got back home, had the pizza. It was great. So no harm, no foul. Now, to the real topic of the show. The pandemic podcasts. Now, this pandemic has done a lot of damage to the population, to families, to loved ones. I've known my fair share of people that have gotten it. But what this pandemic also did was plant the idea in a bunch of people's heads that, hey, why don't I start a podcast? Right? I know you know what I'm talking about. I can't be the only one that is experiencing this. Because in every group I'm in, on my feed, there have been multiple, I would even go as far as to say dozens of podcasts and or radio shows, I'm using air quotes, that have that are filming on abysmal green screen to where it's badly oh my god, the camera they're using to record this, I guess they got a deal from ISIS because they brought all their old cameras because the quality is garbage. It's headache inducing. And then on top of that, you're trying to throw in visual effects of a cheap fucking green screen. The audio is completely out of whack. Like, look, my setup is, I'm still working out the kinks for sure. And I may come off a lot louder in this one. But holy shit. They're doing it in an echoey room, number one. There's no sort of soundproofing going on. There's no soundproofing here going on. Not yet. But there's no echo. People are standing or sitting far away from the mic. When they laugh, it blows out my ears. Nobody knows how to balance audio. And what's crazy is that they invest. It's not like they don't invest in the sound equipment, in the microphones. They have blue microphones. Like not the like blue, but there's a certain blue microphone. I don't know the exact name of it, but it's a long like piece, and then there's like a circle at the top. and that's a mic. It's a very expensive mic. There's 3 of them, and they all sound like shit. Okay? Here's a tip, guys. Here's a tip. People who have podcasts that are new to this shit, uh we don't need to see a Cash App banner going on the side while while all this other shit is moving. They have banners for like other shows. Like they don't know how to like shrink an image. So like when they shrink it to fit on the screen, it's like the image is, it makes it look wide or makes it look thin. They have fucking horribly cropped icons for Amazon and YouTube and Instagram and Twitter, horribly cropped, horribly displayed in the corner. They have the Cash App scrolling through, weird logos, horrible sounding audio, just people who have a loud laugh not knowing they have a loud laugh, laughing into the fucking mic. It's fucking insane. And like this, I'm not saying that the pandemic had anything to do with this. This was happening before the pandemic. These radio shows were going on, and it infuriated me. It infuriated me because it's like there's no care. There's no care being put into any of these. They just feel like, oh hey, we can make each other laugh, right? Let's get on mic. I'm sure we can make other people laugh. And when you look in the comments, I don't know if it's just their friends. I don't know if it's just friends and family. I don't know. But there seems to be no sort of what do you call it? Constructive criticism going on in the comments. Everything is fire, or everything is like, this show is so funny. Oh, this show is so good. And I can't believe I'm reading some of these comments. I don't think I'm watching the same show as them, because if I was, there wouldn't be any of this shit, any of those type of comments. But yet there they were. And that is not good for them. Like, they're supportive, and then there's blindly loyal. Okay? If you're listening to a show and the audio is bad, then it's a horrible show. Okay? It's horrible. Reason why I don't have video yet is because I haven't found a webcam that I feel would be quality-wise up to par with the audio setup that I have. So I'm not doing it. But there needs to be that friend. And if you know somebody that has a podcast, if you yourself look at this from an audience perspective, if you have all this crazy shit going on, banners, fucking different pictures moving, and it's just like around your logo, if your logo looks whack, then you need to work on it. You got to work on it. Look, the logo for my show, it was made by a very good friend of mine, high school friend. I just told him what the title was. He made it, and I love it. He even animated the little button in the from. That's it. Just blinks. And that's the video that I'm attaching to this audio. So when you're watching it, you can see just a little blinking light, something simple. It's not cluttered with my handles. It's not cluttered with banners. It's not cluttered with anything other than the title and the little blinking light. That's it. And there needs to be quality control with this. because you got to tell them. You got to tell them and you got to listen and be like, "Yeah, this shit sounds horrible. It sounds bad. The mic sounds way too hot. Everything just looks cluttered and disorganized and just dog shit. Dog shit. That's what needs to happen. That discussion needs to happen because if you're not going to take this seriously, then you shouldn't be doing it. If you're not going to care enough to turn down the mics, if you're not going to care enough to put some effort into the logo or whatever it is, then you shouldn't do it. You shouldn't just be putting shit out just to put shit out because you think that your charm and the charm of your other hosts are gonna push you through to the audience and you're not gonna and you're just gonna be on some talk show being like, yeah, we had these microphones and this setup, it was put together on a shoestring budget, but we persevered and we went through and it sounded bad, but we found an audience. That's not gonna fucking happen. Okay? That is not gonna happen. So stop living in that fucking delusion. If you're living in that delusion. Now, oh, sorry. But again, it's just a simple observation. Okay? It's something that I've seen. And it's something that I'm going to continue to see because apparently something that nobody that I talked to knew about. No, I was the only person in the group that the close knit group that I'm in knows about podcasts. That was talking about podcasts way back in the day, way back, it like freshman in high school, maybe even before that. I think it was freshman year when I started listening to the Joe Rogan Experience, and that was my Bible. That was my religion all through high school, was to listen to that show. And I wanted to make a podcast because of that show. And looking back now and looking at the equipment and gear I was looking at, I would have never guessed that I would have a podcast and I would be using the equipment that I am. But it's like there was always this drive to want to make this. And I feel like what's going on now, people just think that they have a voice, therefore that voice could be put in a broadcast of some sort, and why not? I make my friends laugh. People think I have a good voice. Let's give it a shot. And they get in and they don't know what the hell they're doing. Or they mess up, or I don't know. I don't know. But, at this point, the podcasts that are going to make it are going to make it. The ones that aren't. And I just have to find some sort of solace in that while I continue to see and listen to these mind-boggling podcasts or radio shows, whatever. Oh, man. And that rant was a lot that rant was a lot shorter than I thought it was going to be. I thought I was going to be diving into this shit for about an hour, but I think that I said I said the same thing twice. I think it feels like that, at least to me. So I guess I have to come up with something else to rant about. something else to rant about. Huh. Hmm. Wow. Dead air. I'm actually thinking on a podcast when I should have had some bullet points out. This is rough, guys. This is really fucking rough. I mean, do I even need to rant? Like, I don't, right? This podcast could be whatever I want it to be, and it is going to be whatever. Oh, hmm. Yeah, I got nothing. I got nothing to rant about, which is good, which is good because I do have stuff to rant about. They're gonna come in episode 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, for the future. I just don't want to bring them up now because I feel like it would be a waste. Some of these are going to be really juicy. Some of them are just going to be duds. But yeah, yeah. I really don't know what else to rant about. Everything seems to be running pretty smoothly thus far. For those of you who haven't listened to episode 0 yet, I would highly recommend you do that first. Because I talk about the words I use in this podcast that I'm going to use a lot because I have like a nervous tick type of thing. Excuse me 1 second. Sorry. I have this nervous tick and I say but, so, did I say that already? Might have. I don't know. And like. All those are very poor podcasting etiquette. So please bear with my nervous ticks. I know they can be annoying sometimes, but I am working on it. Uh, hmm. Well, if I can't find something to rant about, I should find something positive to talk about, right? I can't be all negative all the time. I don't think, nobody's gonna fucking listen. You got to be happy sometimes, right? So here's something pretty funny that well, not funny. It's definitely not funny. It's definitely, I mean, it kind of is funny. Well, you know what? You be the judge. Okay, so I was walking as I do every day, and I walk about 3 miles. And it's around a school. I just walk around over and over and over again. And sometimes when I walk, I see see things. There's like a strip mall next to the school. There's a lot. There's at times some traffic, some foot traffic, people walking to go get stuff. And I was walking one day, and this couple was fucking arguing. They had the hood up. They had the hood up on the car. The hood was up, and then there was some smoke coming out. And this chick was digging into this guy, like digging in. I don't know what this guy was on. I don't know if he was on anything, or this man must have been extremely patient because she was just striking with no mercy. Oh God, you're such a useless piece of shit. You know that? You can't even fix a fucking car. What the fuck kind of a man are you? Oh God. Look at you. What are you doing? I'm trying to fix the fucking car. Yeah, well, you're not doing a really good fucking job, are you? God, this is an embarrassing move. Get the fuck out of the way. He's like, no, I want to fix it. I said, get the fuck out of the way. So the dude steps back and says, you know what? Fuck you. I'm going to fucking walk. You can take the fucking car. And so I'm walking in the parking lot along the fence, and on the other side of the fence, he's walking around the fence and he's coming into the parking lot. Now, I didn't know this because had my headphones on. Didn't want them to know that I was listening in on their entire argument. And then I was like, oh, I need to record this, right? So I bust out my phone. I turn around, and this fucking guy is feet from me. And I don't jump. I kind of like, oh shit. And I put the phone against my stomach, go on YouTube like I'm looking for a song. He goes past me. Then, as he's hauling ass, speed walking across this parking lot. And I hear her unhook the little arm that's holding up the hood. And she's like, look, I fucking fixed it. Yeah. Worthless. Slams the hood, gets in the car, and now I'm heading back onto the sidewalk to continue my walk around the school, right? This chick fucking whips around the fence, peels through the parking lot, and is right behind the dude. Dude looks over his shoulder. She steps on the gas and he fucking jumps out of the fucking way. She almost hit him. And by almost, I mean if he didn't have the reflexes that he had, he would have been ran over. Because that shit was close. And she just sped off. Went around the block, came back and picked him up. Now, I have to ask you, what the fuck kind of relationship is that? How is that a real relationship? You know? There would never be a situation in which I would be in a relationship with a woman who would be saying shit like that to me. First place. That's not going to happen. I would be like, yeah, no, we're done. And leave. You know? But she said all that shit, questioning his manhood, calling him out, then almost hitting him with the fucking car, almost killing him, only to drive around the block, come pick him up, and then drive off at a normal speed. It's insane. It's insane. I can't even put together a scenario in which in that would make that situation make sense to me. There's none. There's none. The minute you almost kill me, I would say we're done. No more. Because that would be the straw that broke the camel's back, you know? Like, a fucking tire up my ass? You almost killed me. That's what would have happened. He was literally lined up right on the right side of the car. If he didn't dive, that fucking tire would have ran up his back and just, that's it. That's a wrap for him. But, hey, love prevails, I guess. And it's weird. This happened weeks ago. And I'm still baffled by it. It's like, what's the conversations like after that? Do you even, like And you know, and I'm sitting there thinking about it, and they looked normal. Like they looked like a normal couple. You would have never known that they had problems, which only like and when I thought of that, it became so clear to me in a crazy way. If I had never seen that and I saw this couple like sharing ice cream, I would think that this is a happy couple, right? So how many couples that are out there that you interact with that have been in situations like that, but they choose not to talk about it, of course, for obvious reasons, but you know, you never know. You would never know. And that's what's crazy. That's what's fascinating about this whole thing is that through all the looks and all that shit, crazy can exist in many forms. Known this for years. Everybody's known this for years, but seeing them just drilled that fact that much deeper into my mind. But it's something that I think about just to have a laugh, just to cheer me up because it was funny. Because you never see that type of shit in the real world, ever. And if you do, you'll talk about it on a podcast like I've been doing. Oh, fuck. Man, this first episode, I don't know. This first episode's a little weird, much like the film that we talked about. Because I thought I was going to be ranting about the the pandemic podcasts for the majority of this show, but you know, there's really not much to say, you know? I could give tips, but the tips would be obvious. Like check your levels, you know, read the instruction manuals for stuff, you know, that's why they're there. Be keen on on those types of things. Get a logo, get a nice logo, get, you know, something. I don't yeah, I don't know. But but yeah. Yeah. Let's see what else. What else could I talk about? Talk about shit that I've written so far. Like for a while, this pandemic has really opened up the writing part of my mind and really made me hone in on a lot of projects that I've been putting on the back burners because of the pandemic, you know? See, making a film or filming a project is a bigger endeavor than doing this podcast. This podcast is so simple. The mic arm is connected to the desk. The audio interface is next to it. It has a switch to turn on and off. Turn on the computer. Turn on the switch. Open up the software. Hit record. Boom. Simple. Hold on one second. I heard a train coming. Um. Yeah. So making a film, I have to get out the camera. I have to get out the lenses. I have to get the tripod, shoulder mount. Have to take them outside, set up the shot, make sure there's no jack-offs walking the streets. Hey, you making a movie? Like, so many times I had to stop recording because of some asshole. Now, they're nice people. They don't mean any harm, okay? But when I'm in that zone of making something or filming something, I turn into a very serious person. And I'm so focused on getting the shot right that any sort of like distraction from a third party, a wild card, and it just gets me. It gets me in a way that I have to like step back and just not focus on this on them. And sometimes that part just it just sometimes it can't. Sometimes it comes out a little bit and I respond in a dickish kind of way. But that is probably one of the main reasons why, obviously, one of the main reasons why I I'm not really filming anything, and obviously because of the pandemic. I was going to say that before, but that too. So this, like I said, is way easier to do, and especially this type of podcast because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. It's apparent that I'm out here lost. I'm new to this. I am really not comfortable with the fact that I am going to be sharing this with people as much as I want to. I just, I don't know. It feels weird talking into a mic and hearing myself in the headphones and not getting as annoyed by my voice as I used to, because I used to record with a audio recorder and that just made my voice sound awful. This, my voice sounds awful, but a little less awful, more tolerable. I'm less cringed up when I hear the podcasts. It's just something that I'm trying to get used to now. Excuse the helicopter. There is a helicopter outside. You may hear it in the background. I apologize. You also may hear cars or a train in the distance. There is a track a few miles away, a couple miles away. So it's yeah, there's a lot of factors. But like I said, I'm going to be working on getting this place soundproofed at least a little bit, so that way I can sort of control the sound just that much more. But yeah, get back to writing, these projects, for the most part, I've looked at, read, found the problems that I chose to ignore on the first draft. Like going through the first draft, I ignored some because I just wanted to get it done. And having fixed those problems, I see the script now as like as a lot better than I had originally intended to write it. Like the story shifted when I read over it, fixed the problems. I realized that the story needed to go in a completely different direction. And this was one of the few times that this has happened to me, because most of the time when I approach a script that I had written, I tend to try to stick as close to the original concept as possible. But for this, something something about the switch and tone shift really made this script pop for me. And it was just a weird tonal shift, because it's a horror film. Okay, I can't talk too much about it. I can't get into details about it, but it is it 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 was intended as a super serious horror film. Very dark, not happy film. And by the end, as I finished reading it, I was really depressed. And so I went back to a key moment in the film. And at that key moment, I decided to shift the tone from horror to comedy. Now, I don't know why I decided to go comedy. I could have gone any genre. Um, and, I could have worked, I could have tried to work with it. And I think what I'm going to start doing now as an exercise for me is looking at scripts and then just throwing in a crazy genre in the middle or where I feel is necessary, and then shift the story tonally and see if it works. Cuz wouldn't it be crazy if there was like a horror crime film? I know there have been. I know they exist, but like a mob horror film. A very serious mob film but with horror elements. Right? Doesn't that sound interesting? Doesn't it sound like hey, I wouldn't mind watching it because those genres are polar opposite. Well, not polar opposites, but they're opposite because one is dealing in the reality of the world with the mafia and stuff, and the other is very, supernatural, very just fake and artificial with horror. I'm not saying fake and artificial in the negative way. I'm just saying horror as in like there can be realistic horror, but I'm talking like a slasher, you know? Or like could you imagine like a Halloween film crossed with Goodfellas with the same care and and you know with the same care and love that you would do for like a regular crime film, like a Scorsese film, the care for the lighting and the cinematography, but then you throw in the slasher, which is just a complete left field introduction, and now they have to deal with that on top of whatever you decided to set up for the crime element. You know, I just think that it would be very fascinating to just try to mix genres like that, just as an exercise, just to keep myself or to keep you on your toes. Just for practice. And you might write a great script. I think the script that I wrote was okay. It again, it was very depressing. So I think the shift to comedy kind of balances the depressing and sort of adds a more satirical element to it, which I think will benefit it in the long run. Oh, man, we're at 54 minutes. We're almost at an hour, guys. Wow, this was episode 1. This was a weird episode to start off with, you know? Like I said, I was planning to spend most of this hour talking about the main topic, but it was done. So I had to kind of just bring out my tap dancing shoes and give you all a little dance, try to improv, go off the cuff, and yeah, this is, folks, this is what it's going to be like, okay? It's just going to be me talking into a mic. I may repeat myself, I may say multiple words multiple times. I may lose my train of thought. I may continue. I may lose my train of thought, move on, and then jump back to it. It's a fucking. It's a fucking whirlwind of just nuts of a psychotic person ranting and talking to himself on a microphone. That's what this is. That is exactly what this is. I don't know what to do. I'm lost. I don't want to wrap early. I think that I want to stick to an hour. And if I can't talk for an hour, then what's the point of even doing this, you know? If I can't just shoot the shit for an hour. Oh man. Oh. Well, I guess I can talk about some shows that are going to be coming up. Like I said in the 0 episode, I do want to make an official movie review podcast. Definitely want to co-host for that one, because just me watching movies and then giving my opinion, it's just going to be it's going to be more of the same. It's just going to be like this. And I want there to be a variety of shows on my YouTube channel that each bring their own unique take on whatever it is that we're making, you know. So there's that one. There's another podcast that I'm planning on making with a couple of other friends. Can't tell the name that quite yet. I don't want to say the name quite yet, because I want to make sure that everybody has the equipment first. We make a few podcasts. Once we have those podcasts, then I'll drop the name. But that one's going to be fun. That one has an interesting concept that I think may rub people the wrong way, may not. But again, this show, this podcast, like everything else I make, is all made in the pursuit of entertaining people. That's the goal of this. That's what I aim to do. I hope that it entertains one person. If it entertains one person, if I can make one person laugh at this show, I mean, they don't even have to laugh. Just if they enjoy listening to a psycho rant on a mic, my job is done. And I like that, you know? I'm excited. I'm excited to see who listens and who decides to just be a part of this. I don't know. It's like showing up to a party early and you're the first one there and you don't know who else is coming. And you're just waiting there. Like, oh my god, who's going to step through the door? Oh my god, it's you. I didn't know you know. It's just fun. Just fun. Just good times, fun shooting this shit, all right? Guys, the world has been serious. Has experienced serious catastrophes over the last 4 years and prior to that. There's a lot of serious that has existed in our lives. So please don't take this seriously, okay? Don't take anything I say seriously. As I said before, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. This is a complete, just shot in the dark attempt to try to entertain people, okay? So please don't take anything I say personally. Just give me time to grow, okay? To grow, to work out the kinks, And I promise you, I'm going to do my very best to put out an entertaining show. And with that being said, we are at an hour, a little over an hour, and I think it's a perfect time to wrap. So, you can catch live at the Filmstrip. Scratch that, live from the Filmstrip every Friday and Monday. And if you have any social media accounts, please follow me on Twitter at FilmAge Studios, on Instagram at FilmAge Studios. Till next time, I'm your host, Christopher A. Padilla, signing off.